know United fans wouldn't want to be out of both domestic cup competitions, would rather be in Europe. That's what we associate United and the glory for. But if there's one advantage here in this bizarre 40 game season, then I think it gives Carrick a brilliant opportunity on the training ground.
Mr. John Cross, Chief Football Writer at the Mirror, Chair of the Football Writers Association. Thank you so much for joining.
It's a pleasure. Absolutely nice to be here.
With one eye on Sunday's game at the Emirates, I wanted to get your input as someone who has covered Arsenal for a long time. United obviously got a much needed lift last weekend in the derby. Firstly, what did you make of that performance at Old Trafford? And secondly, what are the ways, having seen that you think United might pose Arsenal some trouble this weekend, just possibly?
I thought it was a brilliant performance, I must say. Funnily enough, before the game, we were asked to do our score predictions, and I had City winning. I honestly thought at worst City would draw. I just thought, wow, it was bold from Carrick, wasn't it? Basically, in his team selection. Can you imagine if Amorim had kind of gone for, crazy things like, well, I suppose he did in a way, but Dorgu over Cunha, and basically you just and other sort of kind of small bits in sort of the formation of the team and the way that it's set up. But he was really bold and brave, I thought, Carrick, and basically in the way that the team played and performed. It was incredibly high tempo. I thought they were incredibly well drilled and well set up and coached and in a system. They knew what their jobs were, and it really worked. The connection, I thought, between Fernandes and Bruno was particularly noticeable. I thought Fernandez's passing was out this world, and it really, really impressed me. I must say, the one thing that really struck home was how I felt as if United was so energetic and forceful in that first half, and actually City had a slight small spell at the beginning of the second where they were a bit better, but then United went again, and I just was waiting for United to run out of gas because it expended so much energy, and I thought the energetic fantastic performance, maybe fueled by that crowd. I mean, the energy and the noise from the crowd was amazing, I thought. And that's what United fans want to see, isn't it? So I thought that was fabulous. And they basically kept the players going until the end. I did expect them to run out of steam, but they didn't. And I thought it was just absolutely amazing. So they blew me away, really, blew my mind with that performance. I thought it was fabulous. I do think, I mean, obviously Bruno wasn't there the whole time, but it was a great tribute, I think, to having. I mean, it was far from ideal build up, and didn't have the full week, but it was a tribute to not having it, kind of midweek fixtures. Players that may be a little bit fresher can then be, kind of coached and work with in that week as well. And so I thought that perhaps was telling.
Would you expect that to be a factor again this weekend? Possibly. Obviously, Arsenal are going to enter in the Champions League. United have got a full run up at the week. And of course, if you go back to the start of the season, the very opening day, I think it's fair to say Arsenal were not so much Arsenal were fortunate to come away with the win, but United were unfortunate to not take anything from the opening day. So there's hope there from a United perspective, isn't there?
Yeah, there definitely is. I thought that Arsenal really had to grind it out in that opening day and basically obviously go ahead and then hang on. Basically, felt like it was hanging on, didn't it? To be honest,
Yeah.
I mean, Ray, if you remember, kind of involved in a couple of brilliant saves. I think that was Zubimendi's almost his worst performance of the season in the opening game. It's been an amazing signing, I think, for Arsenal. I actually think he wasn't particularly well that week. So basically, so he sort of turns up and it wasn't amazing, but he's been fantastic. But I do feel as if, yeah, you're right. I completely agree that Arsenal were maybe a little bit fortunate to come away with all 3 points in that game. And I think that what struck me the weekend just gone was that Arsenal looked a bit tired and leggy against Forest after really going for it at Chelsea, basically. And Chelsea, they should have won that game 4-1 and ended up winning 3-2. But then basically, so it was a little bit close and they could have almost put the tie to bed at 4-1. But then basically that might have given them a lift. And I do think that that kind of the build up this weekend will be I think favouring United. And I think Arsenal going to Milan on the Tuesday, it's lucky for them it's the Tuesday rather than the Wednesday. So you kind of get a big build up. I gather they're getting a couple of days off completely to recharge this week. So I think that'll be important. But I do think that kind of recovery time and also United having 8 days compared to sort of Arsenal, what is it, 4 or 5 basically, I think would could potentially be a factor really. So I think that's an advantage. And I just think at the moment, I mean, I know United fans wouldn't want to be out of both domestic cup competitions, would rather be in Europe. That's what we associate United and the glory for. But if there's one advantage here in this bizarre 40 game season, then I think it gives Carrick a brilliant opportunity on the training ground and together with Steve Holland as well.
It's certainly there's no getting away from the fact that it is a big ask. 7 points clear, Arsenal, top of the league. You're unbeaten at home since Bournemouth last May, I think, which 17 games ago. So I think 14 wins, 3 draws in that time. Arguably the strongest squad in the league. I mean, speaking as a non-Arsenal fan, it has to be their year this year, you would think, just because they've got the experience of going so close. I mean, you've watched them over a number of years. You'll remember, obviously, the incredible 97-98 team, which just stands out in my mind as just an unstoppable machine. That title run in that year, it was horrendous watching them eat away the ground at United and then just carry on sprinting. Um, in comparison to all the ones that have been before, how good is this team? And I suppose what do United need to look out for on Sunday, apart from obviously the set pieces?
Well, it's really interesting. Yes, that pieces, obviously. I think it's really interesting that Arsenal kind of now are such a different team. And if you speak to coaches within the game, they will say that Arsenal are the best coach team in the league. And basically, that's why they'll win the league. And a lot of coaches, I think, will sort of say that basically. And this is an amazing opportunity. And they are. I think the differences between the kind of the Wenger era and the Arteta era is obviously a bit of freedom, really. So Wenger would put, players in that basically the Invincibles was, about power and strength to a degree, but they still played with incredible flair and skill. This team is much more regimented and basically much more kind of well drilled, coached, and system and set up. And basically, that's obviously why they're benefiting as well from set pieces. They are hard to beat at home, even though I promise you, it's nerves at home. Basically, the Emirates can feel a bit edgy and a bit twitchy because there's so much expectation. Should it be their year? Absolutely. When you're 7 clear, and let's not forget here, it's a 3 result swing. So basically, on their rivals, and you're still talking about basic Villa, who looked. I saw that game on Sunday. Did that game? They looked leggy against Everton, in my view. City, have had drop points lately, look weak defensively. Mark Gay's a great signing in my view, and will really tighten them up. But I do feel as if Arsenal, if they don't win it this year, it makes me wonder whether they ever will under Mikel Arteta because they'll be regarded as kind of as if they. I thought the bottling it was an incredibly unfair accusation in the past, but I do feel as if this year, if they don't win it, I think it's one that will be leveled back at them. To be honest with you, and but I think home Arsenal tend to be really strong and try and pin and pen teams in. Um, you have to play on the back foot sometimes and kind of be very strong defensively. They try and work angles and sort of width and basically try and open teams up from that perspective. Really move the ball side to side, and you've got to be quick on the counter. So, I personally think as if it's a really big week and really big test for Arsenal, really, because you want to come out on the back of it's the first time, would you believe, they've dropped points in back-to-back Premier League games. So that shows you how consistent they've been. But I think then that they can't basically. I think if they don't win on Sunday, it would be viewed as a bit of a dip. And yet they're 7 points clear, if you like. I mean, everything's been going for them. I mean, even at the weekend, you think, oh, they've missed a chance after City slipped to go 9 clear, but then Villa lose. and Arsenal have ended up, being in a position where they've actually strengthened their lead at the top. It's been
Yeah,
remarkable.
amazing. It's been a strong start, obviously, last weekend. We'll see what happens with this weekend's challenge and beyond. But in the meantime, John, thank you so much for your time. You're a gentleman. You didn't have to do that. Top man for coming on.
Absolute pleasure.